What's going on, everybody? What's going on? It's your boy Doc Holiday. We back with another HBCU OverDrive live show. And if you haven't done it by now, please like the stream, share, comment, but most of all, subscribe, become a member of the hottest, livest HBCU show right now, and hit that notification bell to get everything HBCU OverDrive. As you see today, excuse me. You see today, it is Tuesday, and so everybody know what today is. Let me pull something up, y'all. Let me pull something up. And everybody know what today is. It's my new segment, and it's called it's HBCU Tonight, where we just talk about things, current events right now, anything in the HBCU world. So basically, that's what's going on for Tuesday. That's going to be an every Tuesday thing. Like I said, I have everything formatted, planned out. So tomorrow is an off day, and basically, I'm just going to be chilling. So I'll come up with my brainstorming on Thursday. As far as the game, Thursday is the game preview for the week for other all MEAC and the SWAC, except for Jackson State, and I do those on Fridays, and a pregame show on Saturday. So basically, like I said, I have this all mapped out. I have this all planned out. So if anybody wants to jump into the stream, I do have it saved in the chat, so that way you can jump in. We can get this old thing cracking. So get add to the stream. What's going on?
How you doing, buddy?
I'm good, man. I'm good, everybody. This is Brian. Had a pleasure talking, coming on the show plenty of times. Talking to him yesterday on Ken Clark's YouTube channel, and good all around dude. So tonight, like I said, I'm holding the feet to the fire. I wasn't lying. I wasn't playing. And we're gonna start off with Brett Favre, aka Shiesty B, stealing money, stealing millions of dollars. I can't say it's just all him, because this scandal runs deep. It runs real deep, and when I'm talking about deep, it runs all the way up to the governor's mansion in on State Street in Jackson, Mississippi. So if you've been living under a rock, Brett Favre decided to come up with $5 million to donate to his alma mater, which is University of Southern Mississippi, and build a volleyball facility, because that's where his daughter played volleyball at USM. Okay. And it's been going through, he's been texting the former governor, which is Phil Bryant. And if you all don't know who Phil Bryant is the nephew of Carolyn Bryant. Yeah, that same Carolyn Bryant that pretty much got Emmett Till killed. Yep, that is her. So that is him. That's who he related to. And then you got the current governor of the state of Mississippi, Tate Reeves. I feel like he's in on it too, because to me, they all flock together. They flock together. I don't care what anybody say. They flock together. So now Brett Favre's name came up into play because he took money for speaking engagements that he never intended on doing. So he took millions of dollars for speaking engagements he never intended on doing. He paid back the money that was originally borrowed to him, but he's still getting sued for the interest. All right. So now we got a point to where all of the where all the for the stealing money from the poor, and we talking about and if people don't understand what Mississippi is all about, Mississippi is the poorest state in the United States. It's poorer than Alaska, and Alaska is poor, but Mississippi is the poorest state in the United States, and you have a majority. You have a 59% majority white population to a 38% black population. But the thing about it is the city of Jackson, where the capital is in Mississippi, where the governor's mansion sit at, the city, I think the city is like 78% black. And that's where all your problems come in. Okay. So now we talking about how he stole the millions of dollars in the midst of Jackson having a water issue, and the water issue has been going on for years now. But it came about when we had the last freeze, which was 2020, and nope, I take that back, 2021, and basically you saw what happened. Basically, all the pipes burst. The water was bad in Mississippi. The power grid here in Texas failed on us. You seen basically people dying from this basically phenomenon, and I can't really too much explain about it. So now, what happened to me? What happened with this is that it was talked about, but I feel like mainstream media swept it under the rug because there's some even hotter to talk about, which was Ime Udoka and his cheating. Whether you call it a cheating scandal or not with the Boston Celtics. That didn't merit any type of buzz like that. That didn't merit any type of buzz except for to basically kind of cover some, trying to wash this under the, sweep it under the rug. To me, I feel like you could have did that in house. If I'm the Boston Celtics, you could have did that in house. That's nothing that I wouldn't even talk about, because this needs to be talked about more. This needs to be talked about more. A man, a NFL legend, a Hall of Famer to be exact. Everybody know about Brett Favre, basically the Iron Man of football, playing over 200 some games, consecutive games without injury or without missing a game and stuff like that. Hall of Famer, man, famous for the Wrangler jeans and stuff like that. People, to me, you should have it all. Like you should have it all. You know what I'm saying? You're in the Hall of Fame. You should have it all. But he don't come. For him, he don't come with just controversy. He don't come just with a clean slate. He comes with controversy. He comes with basically having, he's basically a sleazeball. If everybody knows, he sent, I think he sent inappropriate pictures, text to a sideline reporter for when he was with the Jets. I think they settled that out of court because figured he didn't want to get his name dragged. You talk about a man that's married and stuff like that. To me, I'm just looking at it as crazy, like, because like you're stealing money, like, and this is deep, like this is deep. So the person that was I think in the welfare department in the state of Mississippi, he resigned because he got caught. He got caught, and from what I heard, they embezzled almost $77 million from the state poorest, from the poorest of the state. Like you got to be real grimy to do something like that. But what you think, Brian?
Well, first of all, thank you for having me again this evening. Uh, just trying to unpack some of this stuff. First of all, Brett Favre, aka Shiesty B, couldn't be any better. First of all, I think everybody should have to really get on board, and even if you have to write to your congressman and federally, they need to really look into this deeply. People have to go to jail. You cannot steal, and it's not like borrow; it's stealing, and knowing where it comes from. Because in his texts, he had said, "Will people find out about it?" So he knew he was wrong, damn wrong, and for him to go on and now we have read reports where he was trying to get extra $5 million to build an indoor practice facility to try to lure Shador Saunders to go to Mississippi,
Yeah.
South Mississippi. Uh, so in regards to that, they definitely have to look into it deeper. The Justice Department has to look into it because he has to be indicted for fraud, plain and simple. And the reason why they're, they just combed over really quickly and they go into, like you're saying, the situation in Boston. The coach was, excuse my language, was screwing another side piece or whatever, consensual relationship, it is said. But Brent Favre screwing over a state, $77 million that they say that was stolen from the coffers. That
Mm-hmm.
and being the poorest state in the nation, that this is dead wrong. With the water crisis, a lot of that money could have been, averted for those causes, for better
Yep.
facilities, for jobs, for people just to get them on their feet. This is welfare. This is welfare for people that are in need. And I read somewhere there was out of the applicants that applied for, only about 200 were accepted. 200 people. That's crazy. Where this guy built a facility that made over $100 million for a volleyball court facility for his daughter. How low can you be?
Ain't
How low? He's
they
the
ain't
low of
even
the
that
low.
good. They not even that good. What's going on, man? What's going on, GSH? To me, like, he got to go to jail, but I let you. I'm gonna tell you like this: the powers that be in Mississippi ain't gonna let that even happen. They look up to Brett Favre like they kind of look up to Archie Manning, but Archie Manning ain't even in that type of, you know what I'm saying? And
No, can't even put
he
them in the
ain't
same
on
kind of
that type
class.
of he ain't on that type of deal right there. But they look at Brett Favre as being a godsend, being the state, the hometown, the home state hero. uh, but he just a regular person to me. Like anybody can go out there. I'm like, bro, you stole money, and not just no little small man. You stole big time money.
And he doesn't want to even pay back the interest.
You don't want to pay the interest back, but he ain't
You know
got
what I
no.
mean? It just kind of show you what kind of person. That's why I know, as for the state to try to do anything, that's going to be null and void. Because he's a good old boy, and like you said, he's like a god in Mississippi. And the thing is, it has to be done federally. The federal Justice Department has to definitely look into this. There's got to be more people, either knocking on doors, writing letters, doing what they have to do, because it's on ESPN. You didn't. It maybe heard one for like 30 seconds. Fox with Shannon Sharp, said he's low as far as like that, but you never heard about it any other. But with the Idoka, you heard about for 3, 4, 5 days, and still hearing about it.
Yeah, Hold on, y'all. Hold on. Keep talking, Brian.
Yeah, the thing is, we just got to get out there and we got to either write to our congressman and put the pressure on the powers that be, because there's no way in the world that a man could steal from the poor knowingly and get away with this. It's because if he wasn't the color that he is, unfortunately, race has to do with a lot of things. We know what would happen, and that's a tragic part about it. As far as Brett Favre, the football player, was I a fan of Brett Favre? Yes, I was. He was a phenomenal football player. But as the things that we're reading about in here, as Brett Favre, the person, he is as low as he can be. We all make mistakes, and you know what I mean. And I hope that he redeems himself for this, but he has to pay the price. Like you do the crime, you got to do the time.
Okay, y'all, I'm back. Yeah, so I understand that, man. Like you got to go to jail, but like I said, they're not gonna do anything. They're not gonna do anything, and you notice that NFL not gonna do anything because that's his boy.
Yeah, and you notice, even on the NFL shows, we're not expecting them to say anything about it. But I haven't heard peep out of any of NFL shows. You know what I mean? Because if usually something happens to a player off the field, we always hear about it, but we haven't heard. Everybody's been silent as far as NFL Today. You know what I mean? On any of the broadcasts, you know what I mean, from Terry Bradshaw. Haven't heard anything from any of those guys about the situation with Brett Favre.
Right. And I don't think you won't hear it either, because I think they just want to keep that swept under the rug. I mean, and that's their narrative right there. But we got to keep the feet to the fire on this, because of the simple fact that mainly it's just the main fact that he took money from the poor.
Could you imagine if Antonio Brown did something like that?
Oh, they would crucify him. They would have put him on. They would have brought up with all the pitchforks and everything. You basically would have seen something like what happened in Charlottesville.
Yeah.
I think, and that would have happened right there. You would have seen something that like Charlottesville. I mean, they would have ride, or somebody like T.O. did something like that. It'd have been a whole. They'd have blew that up. They would have blown that up, and I feel like they would have blown it up because of it being, to me, and this is my opinion. It's a black man. It's a black man that stole money from the state, from the poor, to get himself rich. That's what the story would have been. And then they would have brought up his past, they past and everything like that. But if you see it with Brett Favre, the thing that they do is they bring up the past, they bring up his glory. They bring up the little bit as far as what he did with the text messages and stuff like that, but they don't do anything like that. Nobody's not crucifying him, and the ones that need to be crucifying him should be the ones down on State Street in Jackson. Those are the ones that need to be crucifying him. Those are the ones that need to be going down to wherever he at on the coast of Mississippi, banging on his door, talking about getting my money back. Because if you really think about it, it's like, remember when Bernie Madoff stole billions from people. And people was damn near trying to kill him because they wanted their money back. Like, he was like, at that time when he did that, he was the lowest of the low.
Yeah.
He was the lowest of the low. But see, nobody's not doing that now. Nobody's not taking up arms now, like in the state of Mississippi. So I feel like the state, the people in the state, if you know you needed that money to so you can get, you know what I'm saying, to make ends meet, because we all in that same, you know, we all was in that predicament at one point, you know, at one point in time in our lives. Excuse me.
But it just goes to show. But it just goes to show you, Bernie Madoff stole money from rich people.
Yeah.
Rich people went after him because they know the money. They know what happened with their money. Like you said, they lost billions of dollars, so they went after him. As far as like that, they had the wherewithal to go after. But what happening in Mississippi, the people that are underserved, they don't have any means to go after him, and there should be there should be a voice for the voiceless to go after Brett Favre.
Right. So I'm gonna keep going on this on every Tuesday if I got to, in order for something to get some traction, because ain't no way in the world this man should be walking around either Gulfport or whatever, Biloxi, wherever he at right now on the Mississippi coast,
and he should also get knocked in. And Doc, he should also be affected by, if he's doing any kind of endorsements, go after the sponsors. Yep. People should go after the sponsors, so he should get no kind of sponsorship. But how could you represent a company where you know that, or somebody be the figurehead of a company that stole from the underserved?
Yep.
There's a way to apply pressure.
There's always a way to apply pressure. I'll tell you that right now. It's always ways to apply pressure. But we got to get out. We got to be out there to apply that pressure. We got to hold the feet to the fire. Just like we always say, we hold our administrations and our ADs and our coaches to the highest standpoint, you know, to the highest standards. Then we got to hold these guys like Brett Favre to a higher standard too, with morality. Because that was, to me, that's not just more of an ethical thing. That's more of a morality thing.
No moral compass.
Yeah, you had no ill will towards the poor. And then, you know, when Tate Reeves opened his mouth and say anything about it, or try to say, you know, something being said about that, he deflects it. He deflects it towards Jackson. He deflects it to Jackson State. Well, why do they need to have a stadium on their campus? What you mean? But that's another story right there too. That's another show right there too. Because old Tater Tot want to say all this and all that, but he's still in that governor's mansion in Jackson.
Well, I heard many certain things where people were looking forward to maybe building a new stadium because the hospital apparently wants those grounds where the vets right now.
Yeah.
And then after I heard people say maybe they should renovate the vet. There's always conversation to have for pros and cons of it in a situation like that. But why not give the facility, the Jackson State, some money so they can build better housing, maybe an indoor football facility. There's many ways where that money can be used. $77 million can go a long way in the state of Mississippi.
Yep.
And also helping out the welfare recipients.
Yep. And to fix the water too. So
the infrastructure definitely, because the federal government gives money to the state, and the state has to divert the money to different projects, but they're not giving the money to the locals.
Well, it is a thing though, because the whole thing about it is that when the state gets money from the feds, the state doesn't want to divvy out the money to around the state, because what they're doing is basically they're choking out the black infrastructure in the state of Mississippi, to where now if we choke it out, because you gotta realize if you really think about it, Mississippi, let's say this, for example, the vet was given to us by the state. All right. We've been playing in the vet since the late 70s, early 80s. Um, White people moved out. They did the white flight, so they basically went to the county up north to Madison or over to Rankin County, and basically that left Jackson as being a predominantly black city. So also because we have the airport on the outside, we don't want to relinquish. Jackson don't want to relinquish the airport to the state. They're basically the state legislator in the Senate is choking out its own people. That's all they doing. So they rather for them to choke out their own people to maintain that type of power that they have. It's like if you really think about more like a Game of Thrones type thing. Like it's more medieval. Like I'm gonna choke out. It's not even more medieval. It's more what they did in the 40s, the 30s and 40s over in Germany and stuff like that. I'd rather choke you out of having the resources than to give you this money and make sure that make with the roads being fixed, the pipes being fixed, the water pipes being fixed, the schools being funded. They don't want none of that to happen. They want to basically choke out their own state. And they're going to continue doing it until somebody from that is big and well known defeats the governor as a Democrat, because they've been Republican for over 30 for the past 30 years. The last Democratic governor that they had was Kirk Fordyce, and he was a typical Southerner, but I mean he did in some instances he kind of did right by some people, but he had his flaws, and I'm not gonna hold that against him. But I'm gonna go ahead and move this to the next the next topic on hand for tonight. All right, we're going to get into the Herm Edwards firing. Everybody knows Herm Edwards got fired from Arizona State last week and a half ago. He got fired on the field. He got fired on the field after he just finished coaching the game. Then reports came out that some of his staff basically railroaded him by leaking out information to the other team so they could further push the firing even faster, kind of trying to force it out faster to fire Herm Edwards. Now he had I think his buyout was like either $8 to $10 million, but he gonna get more than that if the reports are true that some people on his staff leaked out information to the other teams and to get to even further his firing, further to push the firing him. Then that civil lawsuit is going to look real. It's going to get real ugly. It's going to get real ugly, and people are going to say, he was going to put us in NCAA probation and stuff like that. But I'm like, well, if you're he's just a coach. You're the AD. You're the president. Y'all supposed to control it's a chain of command. You're supposed to control everything about that program. And if the AD didn't check them and the president didn't check the AD, then all of y'all is basically at fault for even doing that, for even having that situation come about. So to me, I feel like Herm, I say take a year off or so. See who, look at the HBCU route, see who is going to be on the hot seat, see who is basically going to be out the door, and especially in the SWAC, and you go after one of those jobs right there. I mean, that's plain and simple. What you think?
Well, right now, I was just reading a report by Yahoo where it was saying that uh, the head coach of Arizona State, was that he started a football team in 2017, and on September 18th, following a 30-21 loss to Eastern Michigan, it was announced that Arizona State had made a decision to let Herb Edwards go. The more alarming details surrounding the departure of the Sun Devils is coming to light, and it says that according to Howler, athletic department staff members purposely leaked information with the hopes and intention of getting Herm Edwards terminated. So if you have staff members leaking information, and you had a coach, there's a coach quoting saying it was easy to get information from staffers, an opposing coach, easy to get information because they were leaking information to get this man fired. So there's a civil suit right there.
Yeah. And
You know what I
he
mean?
has proof,
But
and there's the bird of proof that it actually, it probably did happen. To me, that makes if I'm a coach if I'm trying to be a coach for going into coaching, do I look at the Arizona State job? Nah, I wouldn't do it.
not about. I'd have to bring everybody. There wouldn't be a person on that staff that's there right now that would be that I wouldn't let go. I'd be bringing in my own staff. But it says that we're talking about some of his recruiting violation that happened during the COVID, and he said that Herb Edwards, he really didn't know what was going on, and said with uncertain swirling around the program, recruiting had suffered significantly. But
Yeah,
it also says a former staff also stated that Edwards may not have been aware of every detail, but was in the know of Arizona, but was in the know of the Arizona State operating outside of the rule book.
yep,
So, sometimes, coming from the NFL, and he was an analyst for many, many years. Did he know all the intricate parts of the NCAA and the ruling as far as like that? So if he had people looking at for that aspect of recruiting, but if you're starting to hear that they're trying to get this man fired, they might have been doing things outside the rule to get this guy fired in the first
right,
place.
right. And then it's so crazy because the starting quarterback, Jayden Daniels, he ended up transferring from Arizona State. He's at LSU, so he's the starting quarterback at LSU. I feel like that's part of the reason why the Sun Devils are not doing any type of good right now. But that is also that, like you were saying, the recruiting and the AD, because as a coach, you got to have most of everything signed off by the AD. And if you don't have that type of working relationship with your AD like that, or your AD doesn't have that type of relationship with you as a head coach, then basically you're gonna be stuck in limbo.
You're definitely going to have issues. We've seen that happening with FAMU.
Yeah, when they had Courtney Gaucher and Willie Simmons was real tight. It was Gaucher was trying. I think he was trying to negotiate a deal. And the school president, Dr. Larry Robinson, I don't know, he felt, was feeling that deal or anything like that. So I mean, Gaucher, they say they fired him, but I think Gaucher quit because I think he's seen the writing on the wall about what was going to happen, and he left. And look at where he is now. He's the associate AD at Tulane. So it didn't even take him that long to even find a new job.
It seems like a lot of problems at FAMU, according to some of the podcasts I heard. I listened to Blue Bloods and Mr. Ford. He
Yeah.
wants the president of FAMU gone.
Oh, there's a lot of people that want the president of FAMU gone. There's a lot of people that want him gone. That they feel like he doesn't care about the kids, the housing situation. But I think the housing situation is basically because a lot of since the George Floyd saga, a lot of kids had the application to HBCUs was on a rise, like on a tremendous rise. since that happened. It was, this I mean, for something tragic, for something like that to happen, tragic like that to happen, the beauty of it was you got this massive spike in applications and applicants to HBCUs, and you're accepting these kids and you don't have anywhere to put these kids at. But I think I did a show about that too. I was upset about that because some of these kids were staying in hotels and stuff like hotels, but the school was paying for it. Because if it was me, I wouldn't even pay for not now dime. I would pay for not now dime to be staying in a hotel while I got to go to school because you decided that you want to take me in, but you didn't have enough for housing.
Wow. So getting back to Herb Edwards, and also just looking at it, I was looking at something on YouTube before we got on tonight. The man walking off the field gets in the end zone, and they fire him.
Yeah, right there. I mean, it could have been worse because, like, you remember Lane Kiffin got fired on the tarmac, about to get on the plane from USC. Like, he got fired. They told him, "Don't get on the plane. Find your way. Find your way somewhere. Find another place. Sign another ride to get home or something like that. Get home." So,
well, you know what? When you're a coach, you get hired, and your days are numbered to be fired, unless you resign.
Yep.
And that's just that's the reality of coaching. But you think they would have a little bit of dignity to do it. Either what I mean. They had an opportunity to fire him before the beginning of the season. There was rumbles saying they had a losing record last year. If you want to make a change, you make a change. But to fire the guy coming off the field, you know what I mean? Like you said, they did that to Lane Kiffin. I know in hockey, my friend Jerry Gallant, that's coach of New York Rangers, he got fired, you know what I mean? And he had to take a taxi, you know what I mean, to get to the airport. So, that happens in professional sports. Obviously, it happens in collegiate sports. But, there's got to, I'm not saying there's a method to fire somebody, but there should be a more way for a little bit of decency.
Yeah. So the next thing, man, the last thing on my show is this Twitter space I was on with Uncle Luke. Okay. I got a chance to talk to Uncle Luke on Twitter space, y'all. On Twitter space. And if you haven't done by now, please like the stream. Make sure that you comment, share it, and most of all, become a member and subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit that notification bell to get everything HBCU OverDrive. So, man, yeah, I had a chance to talk about to get on a Twitter space that Uncle Luke put on there. He hosted it, and the primary subject was Coach Prime to Georgia Tech. What do you think?
That ain't happening. That's not happening.
So now, anybody that's in the chat that's watching this right now, tell your friends to get on the channel right now. If they go to Jackson State, to get on the channel right now, and we're gonna talk about Coach Prime. We're gonna talk about these. We're gonna talk about these job openings right now. These job openings that people are forcing or are trying to push that narrative for Coach Prime to go to.
It's just like you're saying, Doc, with relationships. You know what I mean? He has a great relationship with A.D. Robinson. So there's no way university like Auburn, Georgia Tech, Nebraska, whatever's going to pop up this week, that they're going to give Coach Prime the control that he has at Jackson State. There's, you know what I mean, for his personality. Most of the ADs don't run the programs. There's the boosters, and for him to do what he's doing, they'll be They basically want Coach Prime basically to be a figurehead so they can use him for recruiting. But with the job, see, he's doing more than just coaching at Jackson State. Let's just get that out the way. Not only is he being a great coach, he's being a great mentor. He's being a great life coach. He's showing he's turning boys into men.
Right.
And he's who can you learn from better from the guy that did NIL before NIL, Coach Prime, played professional baseball while going to college.
Yep.
So if there's anybody to learn about NILs and to learn to get to the next level and in life, is you're doing it through Coach Prime. And not only his staff, Dennis Sturman, you know what I mean? You got the offensive coach, you got the defensive line coach, you got the defensive back coach, NFL guys experience, offensive line, NFL experience. For kids that want to go to the next level, where do you want to go to get better coaching? They're going to give it to you real. They're keeping it a buck all the time. Sometimes we don't like what we hear when we're being coached, but sometimes that coach is being hard on you because he sees the potential that you don't see in yourself.
Right.
Coach Prem his legacy will be bigger at Jackson than it will be any other place.
And so now, to me, I feel like all these job openings that's going on right now, that's up right now, because everybody knows Georgia Tech, Jeff Collins got fired. So basically, they're buying him out for $11 million to not even coach the rest of the season. Just sit at home, don't do anything, get this money right here, and that's it. You got the Nebraska job that's open with Scott Frost being fired. His buyout, I think his buyout was like $12 or $13 million. Just sit at home, don't do nothing, get this job right here. I mean, find something else for you. This is what my boy said. Said, like I said at CFL podcast, if Florida State didn't want to let Deion be Deion, what makes y'all think that some P5 schools will allow him to be Deion and call his shots? That is true. That is true. So I'm gonna tell you like this: that Twitter space I was on, I mean, it was cool. Now I made my case for the fact that I want him to stay. But if he does go, what type of succession plan do we meaning Jackson State do we have to make sure that we get a coach that is going to continue what he has done? Do you retain somebody on his staff? Do you go after another do you go after a big time ex NFL player / Hall of Famer? What do you do if I'm Ashley Robinson? Because like I said, like I told him on the spaces, there's no more staying at a school for like 40 and 50, 35, 40, 50 years anymore. There's no Joe Paterno staying at, from a Penn State staying for like 40 some years. There's no Bobby Bowden from Florida State staying there for like 35, 40, 40 years. There's no Eddie Robinson that was basically Grambling. He was Grambling. That's going to be there for 57, almost 60 years. There's no more coaches like that. The most you're going to get from a coach, you trying to get from a coach is like at least 3 years, 3 to 4 years. And after that, if nobody has not turned if they have not turned their program around, then you gotta call a spade, and you gotta let them go. There's a lot of people that was in that Twitter space, like Carl Reed from 247 Sports was in there. Coach Flea was in there, but I don't think he said anything. But he was listening on the live. You had some other coaches from other schools that was in there, and some of them was like, and some people was like, man, well, Jackson State got to match this money and match that money. I mean, we really don't have to match any type of money like that. All you want to do is, I feel like what he wants to do is make sure that his staff, you make sure your staff gets paid.
That's right. That is 100% right.
Because he don't have to worry about anything.
No.
My guy getting the NFL pension. He get money from the Hall of Fame. His name alone gets him. You know what I'm saying? His name alone gets him money. Regardless.
Walmart, Under Armour, Amazon Prime now. You name it. Dion's on a lot of endorsements.
Yeah, he Affleck, dude. His name alone gets money. He gets money just like that. Now, but like my whole thing is, like I said, he wants to make sure that his guys gets paid. And some of his guys, like I said, the people on his staff, at least 3 of them came from when he was the OC at the at Trinity Christian here in Dallas. Andre Hart, the linebacker coach, was the actual head coach at Trinity Christian.
That's right.
He was the actual head coach. You think he gonna let? You think Prime was gonna when he left to go to Jackson that he wasn't gonna take his guy with him? Y'all think that he was gonna leave him in Texas, in Dallas, and say you got to fend for yourself? Come on now. Kevin Mathis. Kevin Mathis, he's from East Texas. But he played with the Cowboys. Prime taught him everything about being a bait and switch, press man, cover corner, right? When he was in Dallas. Kevin Smith was if I'm not mistaken, Kevin Mathis was the defensive. He was the defensive coordinator or the cornerback coach for Trinity Christian. Guess what? He took him right along with him.
Yeah, he's DB coach.
He's a DB coach now. And a damn good one, too.
DBU.
Yeah, because he knows a little thing. He knows some thing, but he was taught by Prime. Kevin Mathis was taught by Prime and Darren Woodson on the Cowboys. To as far as ability wise. And then both of them took him and told him how to be a professional. I mean, come on, y'all. Y'all think that man gonna lead his people like that? And before even Andre Hart became the coach of Trinity Christian, Avion Kaysen was the head coach of Trinity Christian for like 2 of those years. And Prime was right there because he had Shiloh on the team. He had Maurice Washington on the team. He had most of the players that you're seeing right now on his team. And Kaysen, he was a damn good coach when he was at Trinity Christian. I mean, just think though. Prime, I feel like Prime not going nowhere, and it's his decision if he wants to stay or if he wants to go. It all comes down to him. So people are pushing this narrative like it is crazy because the people that's always pushing this narrative is either not, haters of Prime or haters of Jackson State.
Both things could be right though. But the thing is also
both things could be right. Both things could be right. But
the thing is also though, for him always being, this is what Prime wants. In one regard, is having his name, not only his name, but it also puts Jackson State always in the news. It gives it a higher profile. And what he wants mostly, first of all, he's got 4 kids, 3 out of 10, and 1 that works for him at Jackson State.
He got
Uh,
5.
so you have that rate going on right now. So the thing is also is that he is not leaving until I believe his daughter graduates. I can't, you
I
know what I
feel
mean?
like
Because
that too.
Shador goes to the league, and Shiloh goes to the league. I can't see him leaving and just leaving his daughter there behind. And the thing is, he's got, I think, it's 2 years left remaining on his contract.
Yep.
It's bring a high profile to Jackson State. Right now, as we were talking last night on on Ken's show, 1400. The thing is, this is the probably we're going almost to the height of HBCU. It's probably in a long time. You know, obviously more than I do. So you know
Hmm.
what? He understands the time period. He understands he's in the now. He always talks about, you know what I mean. He's not worried about the future. He's always in the present. And one thing about Dion being in the present, he realizes what's going on. And Dion tells you exactly. The transparency is unbelievable because he tells you exactly what's going on.
Right.
He wants to get. He loves to see his coaches do better and have an opportunity if they want to go to the next level. So that is fine with him. But he wants. He also has. He wants an opportunity for his coaches to get paid.
That is true. Like I said, the man was NIL before NIL. Him and and Bo Jackson and hell, even Ricky Williams. If you really think about it, Ricky Williams did the same thing. He played baseball in the summertime. He played football for the University of Texas, and he was NIL before NIL. You know, they made money playing baseball, but they played football. You know, football was their first love. Um, I don't see him going nowhere. Probably at least another 4 or 5 years. And he might stay. I feel like he might stay after Shalimar graduates from Jackson State. That's the baby girl.
Yeah, I
Um,
would like to. I would like to see him, just personally, my own selfish reason, see him stay after Shador leaves, and what kind of quarterback can he bring in, and to see what kind of offense, and to continue that success. Because one thing, what Dion, from when he started his own school, Prime Academy, to going to
yep,
Trinity,
prime prep.
they always won. He's a winner. He's a winner. He's a winner. Shador never lost a game in the SWAC yet. Knock on wood, that continues to continue. So, so you always know that Dion's always going to bring in top-notch recruits, more and more. They said, "Are you ready for Alabama?" He says, "Give me a year or two, because you have to build the interior of your offensive and defensive line." He's doing that. The skill positions are phenomenal. You can match them up with anybody. The receiving core is ridiculous. You got a guy that led the league in touchdowns, not even dressing. That tells you about the depth that they have
Yep.
in Jackson. So I truly, it's good that people are talking about it in that regard. But if, like we were saying before, if when he first applied and was looking to coach on the NCAA level, if the greatest player that played for Florida State, he said he had a great interview, and they didn't hire him. So if they didn't hire him, I like somebody said wrote in before and said, if they didn't hire, who do you think other Power Fives will, or do they
Right.
want him, or does he want to go?
And then too, a school like Georgia Tech, which is an academic institution, a high academic institution, because I think they produce more engineers than like Harvard or Yale or something like that. Let me see. Okay. Hold on. So Earn Your Leisure just dropped the hour plus interview with Coach Prime about an hour ago, and that's even more exposure for JSU, HBCU. Yes, it is.
Yep.
Yes, that is. So y'all need to go. Everybody need to go check out Earn Your Leisure. They are a great podcast, a great group of people with great podcast. Um, but you have a school like Georgia Tech, which is, like I said, it's an academic institution. So they have a rigorous academic, admissions process that they go through. Um, To me, like I said, it's more like how SMU was. Is their academic, admissions is high. It's stringent. Like they go for they're going for people that's they trying to make Rhodes scholars and stuff like that. Um, but my whole thing about him trying to go to Georgia Tech is he'll be in Atlanta. He's going to be in Atlanta. If you recruit Georgia, you're going to take most of the recruits from the University of Georgia because now that he's in the fold. If he's in the fold there, those guys going to flock to him because of his name. But now they'll flock to him because of his name and the type of football that he likes to, he likes to play. Like it's now, if you really think about it, this is like Eric Dooley says Southern, his offense is basketball on grass. I'm thinking Jackson State is the real basketball on grass because I feel like their tempo is way higher than Southern. But it's also the narrative with Auburn. Auburn is more lenient with the academic process, the admissions, but with Auburn, their boosters run the program. Their boosters run the program. And then two, it's like, to me, I just feel like you're not gonna get that type of experience you get at a P5 than what you get at an HBCU. You're not gonna get that type of love or admiration. Because I'm be real honest with you, Brian. And I'm be real honest with everybody that's in the chat right now. Make sure y'all like the stream. Make sure you like the stream. I'm be real honest with you. If let's say he goes to Auburn, right? Let's just say he goes to Auburn. And he, your main thing is win the SEC West, beat Alabama, right? That's at Auburn. You know, that's what they try to do. Let's just say he stinks. Now I ain't say he stinks it up, but he comes out with a 7-5 record. Don't beat Alabama. I promise to God, you know how many niggas and coons and all the words in the world.
I told you not to hire that nigga.
True. Y'all know how many. I'm telling you, this black MF, this black bastard, this black bitch. He gonna be everything in the book except for Deion Sanders.
Yeah.
If he lose, because that fan base and them boosters is hell bent. Auburn is hell bent on one-upping on Alabama. That's it. They don't care about anything. They don't care about anything else. Auburn mentality is to be one up on Alabama. And if a black man, which would be the first at the university at Auburn University, if that even happens right there, he would be basically every book. He would be basically every name in the book except for Deion Sanders. Yeah. If he loses, or if he comes, if he becomes pedestrian average. Hold on 1 second. I will see some. Just for conversation, what's the average paycheck at ACC coach makes in a year, and how much will GT have to pay for Coach Prime? Man, well, shit, for Jeff Collins, they paid him, I think he had like a 7-year deal or something like that for, I think for like 40 or something like that, $40 to $50 million. I don't know what the numbers was, But I know when they fire him that he has a buyout clause in his contract to where they have to pay him $11 million just for him to sit his ass at home and do nothing but collect the paycheck.
It's Coach Prime goes undefeated, wins the Celebration Bowl. Uh, Georgia Tech would have to put Coach Prime on layaway.
They have to. Because somebody going to try to come after him, and they going to come after him with some big money. Even Auburn going to come after him with some big money. If Jimbo Fisher F's up at Texas A&M, Texas A&M going to come out there and be like, hey, we need Coach Prime. We need to get him. I don't care. Go get a blank check. Blank check and tell him whatever his offer is, that's how much we're going to pay him. I mean that I'm just putting it out there. I'm just putting it out there. But like I said, I want Coach Prime to stay where he's at because he is a godsend to Jackson State, but he is also a godsend to HBCUs. We have not seen this type of renaissance since Eddie Robinson was still alive. Even when Jay Gaither and Big John Merritt and W.C. Gordon was running the show, Marito Kasem over at Alcorn, or even Pete Richardson when he was at Southern. You have not seen that type of renaissance in HBCU football in a long time. Like literally in a long time. But there's a lot of, like I say, there's a lot of people out there that want to hate. They don't want Coach Prime to be there because, hey, he must be beating the brakes out your school. The whole thing about y'all is y'all need to catch up. And y'all better catch up real fast. Because by the time y'all catch up, we're going to be light years ahead of y'all.
Jackson State is bringing a beat down to your school's coming soon. He brought the swag into the swag. And, a lot of people don't like to live outside the box, and he's showing the possibilities, what you can do when you live outside the box, and all the opportunities that are out there. Instead of, that's a question. Mm-hmm. And does HBCU want to stay SWAC popular, or do they want to be popular throughout the nation as far as like that, and bring and getting people to enroll, more enrollments in schools? That brings more revenue. Everything else will come down to dollars and cents. Because if we have no dollars, it makes no kind of sense. And so, you know what? By him. But the thing is also too that I look at it, and some of the conversations that we're having is that Coach Prime, where he is in his life and his age right now, where he is, what is his purpose? His purpose, he said, God called and collect, and he answered. So the thing is that he's doing, I think it's more for legacy than for dollars, because obviously, with all these schools calling, and his name being mentioned, he can go get the big bucks. You know what I mean? Just his name, he can get the big money. But I think it's more about his legacy. I think, you know what I mean? He has enriched the lives of many people. He has raised the bar for the culture. You know what I mean? I never seen, I don't know, you being an alumnus of Jackson, how many rappers and singers and celebrities have you seen? It's like being at an LA Lakers game and seeing all the celebrities sitting on the sidelines.
Like and it's funny because when I was in school, like you didn't really see too many people like that that was on the school. Like other than when I was there when David Banner, when he was coming up, but David was, he went to Southern. He went to Southern University and graduated with a political science degree. He came back to Jackson and he started his, his music career. Like I remember one time I was at home, it was homecoming. I think it was my freshman year. It was my freshman year homecoming. And we saw Kelly Price and Chico DeBarge. Like they just walking on campus, just like regular people. And some of us had to, we recognize them and everything like that. So everybody got autographs and stuff. But it was just the fact that, this is like 97. Everybody, they walking down the street like nothing ever happened. Like they, nobody, I don't know, nobody too much recognized them. Let me get to this question right here. With the success of Coach Prime in 2 years at DI Love, does that put pressure on other coaches that have been at their schools for 5, 6, 10 years to start producing on a prime level? You can say yes and no, because you got a Buddy Pugh that's been at South Carolina State for 20 years, and he's been doing it the way he's been doing it for the longest. So, I mean, it's about the type of person that coach is. Like a Hugh Jackson, I mean, he just got the Grambling. So you give Hugh Jackson probably another year or two in recruiting, the G gonna be put back on the map, and he gonna put the G back on them helmets because they gonna have to earn it. Because we need that blue blood to be competitive. We have to have them competitive. As Grambling, that Southern, we gotta have them competitive. That Alcorn, we gotta have them competitive. The FAMU, we gotta have them competitive. We gotta have those blue bloods that's in HBCU in the SWAC. We have to have them competitive. And the more competitive that they are, and the more competitive that Jackson State is, then that puts the whole conference on a pedestal. It's already on there, but it would elevate it even more because those 5 teams right there that I just name dropped are doing what they're supposed to do, is being competitive, winning, being blue bloods of the SWAC or in HBCU football. Because I keep forgetting, FAMU just got to the SWAC 2 years ago. But like I said, Ashley Robinson, hopefully he should have a succession plan in place. You got to have one in place. You can't just, to me, you can't be not knowing what's going to happen if this man leaves, and who you trying to get as an actual person, as a coach coming in for your school. And to me, I feel like it has to be like when if you really think about it, when Butch Davis left Miami, and they had a succession plan when he left Miami, and they brought in Larry Coker. Remember, Larry Coker didn't have to do anything. All he had to do was just be like the CEO of the team. The players and the other coaches was gonna do all, but they were gonna do all the work.
I read an article, not an article, but I had a statement say, "Is Jackson State the next, Hurricanes?" You know what I mean? So the way they're building the program is like the Hurricanes are like Alabama. So like you said, they have to have a succession plan. But the hardest thing is for the person that's going to follow Coach Prime. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because there's only one Coach Prime. There's only one Coach Prime. But back to the question that the person wrote in, like Coach Pugh has done a phenomenal job in South Carolina. But the thing is, he always has to take money games. So, for a man that's been coaching as long as that, has Deion maybe opened his eyes to say, you know what, maybe we should try to do this, not change what I'm doing because it's been successful for me, but maybe
Yeah.
just add a little something in so it can be more successful and sustainable. Because instead of playing these money games when you're getting blown out still. So you know what I mean? In that regard, Dion has brought new emphasis on many different ways of getting more resources, and that's what
Right.
it's about. You know what I mean? For these schools, is getting more resources, and you have the people that are like-minded instead of being like-minded with having haterade in their system. Is to be like-minded and say, listen, let's be progressive in a way that's going to be better for our program. It's just because it's not your idea doesn't mean it's a bad idea.
True.
And that's what happens a lot of times, and especially with our culture. Because well, I didn't think about it. No, it has nothing to do with ego or pride in this situation. It has to do with what works and what is common sense. And the thing is, if your idea is good, hey, you know what? That might spark something in you that you're going to say, hey, listen, maybe I can think of this. There's many
Right.
different ways when you work as a team. It's just better for the mass. It's like one finger is not successful, and a fist is more powerful. So you have to have that same kind of principle and like-mindedness for people that understand the betterment of whatever. So either the program or the whole economical program, the space that is needed to go in. Because if everybody does their own individual thing, then you know what? Nothing changes.
Right. And my thing about that is can we, like I said, can we sustain this type of, do the coaches, do they have to be like Prime? They can't be like Prime because there's only one Prime. There's nothing that you can do about that. There's only one Prime. You have to, I would think you would want to go with some of the blueprints that he has, but nobody can be that man right there.
But they're going to be in a better position than when Prime started off because of what Prime's leaving them. You know what I mean? Uniforms, a better practice field, better locker room. So the coach that comes in doesn't have to do all that because it's already been done. So the foundation's already built. All you have to do is continue on that building.
Right. Right. So, to me, like I said, I feel like he don't need to leave. He just needs to stay where he at. He's doing. I mean, everybody know he's doing a good job. Is technically for him is year 3, but because that when he came in the spring last year, it was COVID season. That was the evaluation. To me, that's an evaluation period.
Preseason.
It was preseason. This is year 2 for his program.
And that was the benefit that spring season too, because he got rid of a lot of players.
Yeah, he got rid of about 65-70% of the team. And my whole thing is, and I told people like this. Some people was like, well, you're not a good coach if you can't coach the talent that you have there right now. And I'm like, you can be a good coach, but if the kids that you have there aren't invested or aren't, don't have that type of mindset to be great, then why would you want them to be there?
If you want dogs and you have cats, you get rid of them.
What up, Sean? Come on, jump in, man, because we could jump right back into the Brett Favre, the Shiesty B. Let me see. This question: 20 years of money gains of SCSU. Why haven't they moved to an FBS conference since Buddy Pugh's system is so good? It's a financial it's a financial thing because most of the time you have to bring in. You have to make sure that the money that you have. First of all, you gotta be in compliance with Title IX. So you gotta have more. You gotta kind of have more female sports to male sports. You gotta have some Olympic sports that you can sponsor, and then those non-revenue sports has to be. You gotta kind of help them out Plus, you got to make sure the facilities that you have are up to date, up to par, and it doesn't have to do anything but winning. And that's what we learned. That's what we learned. I learned the other day about moving up to FBS. You don't have to be a winner to move up to FBS. Let's see. For example, University of North Texas was a FCS school for a long time. They moved up to FBS and they still wasn't good. They still wasn't that good until about the early 2000s. And then they had a lull, and then they came back up. So they had an ebb and flow about it. The main thing that they had to do was basically upgrade the stadium that they had at the time, which was Fouts Field, and upgrade that facility from 15,000 to like 25,000 seats. So they had to add in seats in order for them to move up. Plus, they had to average at least 15 to 17,000 on a yearly basis to move up, you know what I'm saying? Also to move up. So, to me, South Carolina State would be just fine being in the MEAC. Now, a school like now, if they were still in the MEAC, FAMU would have been one, but they already tried that before, and they fell flat on their face. They was trying to rush their process of moving up to FBS, and it just went downhill. And for some reason, they at the time they didn't recover for it for almost like 15 years. Like, no, not take that back, about 12, 13 years. So they're just now getting back up to where they was, but they also have other problems with everything that FAMU does is self-inflicted. It ain't because of something else, but everything FAMU does is self-inflicted. You can look at a school like, 20 years. He's been there for 20 years. He's been there for 20 years. And he's been successful doing it. But I want to say he's just taking all money gains. But in some instances, you do take some money. You take some money gain. Because remember, when you take money gains, like you got to figure in like the cost of travel, where you're going to, and stuff like that. You taking a band and cheerleaders and having fan buses going to these places. You have to look into all those situations right there. And whatever you have left over, that's what you take home. That's the reason why FAMU, that's the reason why Coach Brown was talking about, well, why are we getting the bulk of why are we taking these money gains and we're not even getting like at least $700,000, $800,000 to take these games, because it like for example, Alabama State took a money gain to UCLA. I think Alabama State got paid by almost $500,000 to go fly all the way to LA to play UCLA in a damn near empty stadium, in a damn near empty Rose Bowl. What are those? And basically they got beat to sleep, but what did they initially take home after that? Because you got to figure, like I said, you got to figure in cost of the team, the band, the cheerleaders, the lodging, you have to figure all that cost in. How much did they take home after that? They probably only took home $100,000. So you really got paid $100,000 to go play across the country to get beat in a half-empty stadium and then come back to what? What do you come back? What do you come back to? It was easy to me. It was easier for LSU. I mean, Southern, because they went down a couple of blocks to LSU. They just went to the south side of town in Baton Rouge and took home $760,000. They probably took $700,000 back with them because they took the band. They got the buses, took the band and everything. So you gotta kind of put that in perspective, like over the years of doing all that. Do you make money? That's the reason why Prime didn't want to play in the Southern Heritage Classic no more. You're not getting no money. Oh, let my boy Sean in. What's good?
Man, chilling, bro, chilling.
I'm gonna ask this question, then we're gonna get back to Shiesty B.
Yeah. Handle your business. I got my nachos ready.
If Coach Prime was to stay at JSU for 20 years, what do you think JSU would be? Shit, we'd probably be in the FBS conference.
I was just reading that because remember at the beginning of the year they were talking about a realignment, and Coach Prime said they were talking to other conferences, and he said some of the major schools, some of the blue blood schools, have to make a major decision, and so for him, so that's maybe one of the other reasons that we haven't really touched on is why he might not want to go to a FBS school, because maybe they have plans or something in the works that they might go as a whole school. So that's going to bring more dollars to them also. Be more resources that way if they go to an FBS situation, and probably bring four other schools to see FAMU, Grambling, maybe Southern, along with JSU.
Yeah. Don't he have something in his clause, in his contract? A clause in his contract that has something to do with moving up?
Yep. Move up, because some of that money you get that money from the conference and the TV deal, you got to pay him.
And he get a bonus.
And he get a bonus off of that.
Because Texas and Oklahoma are going to leave the Big 12, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I don't think they're looking at it like that. I think they're looking at it where they can score an opportunity. But what people don't realize is, they're like, well, JSU ain't playing anybody. How they just going to go up? Are you seeing any other FCS school on ESPN damn near every day? No.
Other than North Dakota State or James Madison or
and they ain't even showing them every day.
They ain't showing them. No, you don't see that.
They just had Prime on ESPN today, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Talking about potentially going to one of them FBS schools.
My boy Lowe said his name ringing up in Houston.
Of course. Think about it.
Mm-hmm.
This is what people don't fail to realize. When he says something, it resonates. It resonates among other athletes who played the game and people who've covered the game and know who he was. Remember, they didn't think that he could do the collegiate thing. They thought that he didn't have it in him. He gets an opportunity. He showed he can pull in big time recruits. All hell breaks loose.
Yep.
Just for landing Travis Hunter.
Yep.
And Kevin Coleman. Forget the other transfers and all the other recruits and stuff like that. Like the buddy from way in California comes from California to Mississippi.
Talking about
to play. The cornerback.
Tavion Beasley. Or Herman Smith. Because I know Herman Smith from California.
Both of them. Did they both go to Boston or something?
Tavion went to Bosco. It's another dude, the center. He went to Servite, and Herman Smith went to
San Diego, wasn't it?
Lincoln in San Diego.
There it is. Yeah. So again, he has a clause in his contract that if he gets that buzz, he's going for it. And you know who with him? His AD.
Yep.
Do you think they don't have the president on their side?
Yeah, they got Dr. Hudson on his side. Come on now.
Exactly. So they can do whatever they want to do. Now, just like when he said something about this whole Heisman stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's talk.
Yeah.
But he knows what he's doing. He's a genius.
Name out there.
Come on, man.
You got to start the narrative.
He's starting the narrative.
And whether you believe in it or not.
And it's not even just with the Heisman. It's really with the Walter Payton. I mean, because if you really think about it, ain't nobody. If the voters did vote him for a Heisman, boy, they're gonna tear a new one in them. But you know, to me, he getting that buzz because it's like, okay, the Heisman, yeah, I'm gonna get my name. We ain't had you already know, Sean. We ain't had a player from the HBCU ranks be talked about in the Heisman since Steve McNair in '94. I was a sophomore in high school when he played third.
That's facts.
Because Rashawn Salon won the Heisman that year.
Sure did. Yep, and he ran all over everybody.
Yep.
Yeah, 2,000 yards, wasn't it?
But you really think about it, Steve McNair was Alcorn.
Mm-hmm.
Steve McNair was Alcorn. That was the only other. In fact, before Jackson State even got on, before JSU even got on ESPN like that, Alcorn was the one that was popping on ESPN2, just because of him. They had a game. I remember they had the game. I think when they played, it wasn't Jackson State because it wasn't the Capital City Classic. It was, I think, what was that? Was it Southern? I'm trying to remember. I think it was a Southern game. Dude had down there 500 yards passing and probably like another 150 running with like 5 touchdowns. Hold on. You said PV. They said, okay. You said PV. Oh, you said PV was the game. Man, look, he was the real, like, McNair was the real deal that year. Shit, he was a real deal. All the 3 years he was at when he was at 4 years at Alcorn. And man,
here's the thing. Like Scotty was arguing, and he was throwing out some stats from those other quarterbacks last year, who had a whole bunch of numbers.
Yeah.
All they had was numbers. They didn't have no backing.
Right.
Deion Sanders has a backing and media outlets that will push the narrative for him because of relationships.
Yep.
I didn't want to call in and have that argument with Scotty because he would understand. Okay, I see what you're arguing. I ain't arguing about the stats, bro. I'm not arguing against the numbers.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm saying is the publicity that he gets when he speaks.
Yep.
And he has connections. And that's why he said it's up to the media, the media, to push the narrative.
Yep. He said that in the coach's call yesterday.
Right. So all he got to do is people who got votes. Right?
Mm-hmm.
People who got votes. All of them, a lot of the Heisman winners play where? Where did a lot of Heisman winners play?
Power 5, Alabama, Ohio State. Quarterbacks.
After they played college football, where did they end up?
Nowhere.
In the NFL.
In the NFL.
All right. All of the players that went to the NFL are familiar with who?
Prime.
Deion Sanders. It's a narrative. It's a narrative, bro. He pushing the narrative.
Yep.
What one thing that we're missing something here, I think, that's very valid. Dion played for one of the greatest marketers that ever was, Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones, and I know, Doc, you appreciate this because you're a Cowboy fan. Jerry Jones, you know what I mean? Remember he was talking about Tony Romo like should be in the Hall of Fame. Tony Romo's not a Hall of Famer. But the thing is, he's always talking about the Cowboys. The Cowboys are always on every sports outlet, good, bad, or indifferent. The Cowboys there. So Dion has a little bit of that in him too. By talking about Jackson State, they're saying, talking about Shador, but talking about the Heisman. So you're always going to have a talking point about Jackson State and now Shador. And it's like Sean's saying, it's the associations that you keep.
Bro, I'm gonna tell you like this. Prime came when Dion came into the league, and when he was with the Falcons, he had Jerry Glanville as his head coach. And Jerry Glanville was flamboyant.
Yes,
like he was all the way out there,
wearing black like Johnny Cash.
Yeah. And he got Jerry Glanville had that swagger, and Dion got that swagger regardless. Yeah. But Glanville had that swagger. He played with Andre Rison, who matched that swagger that Prime had. Then he go to San Francisco, and he was, he said, I was a hired assassin because the 49ers couldn't get past the Cowboys.
That's right.
In the NFC Championship games. So he became a hired assassin. But he already had work ethic, but he had that he saw how Jerry Rice's work ethic was, and Jerry Rice saw how Dion was as as a person, as a player, and they gelled together. Like he was trying to teach Jerry, it's cool to be, you got that work ethic, but it's cool to be loose. And then Jerry's like, well, you so loose, but you still got to have some sort of, workman's ethic that, just go out there, do your job and stuff like that. They meshed well together. Then when you get the Cowboys, like you said, the biggest marketer on the team was Jerry Jones. And it's not like he when it comes, really think about it, when it comes to contracts, Dion had one of the best agents in sports, in Eugene Parker.
Yeah.
He learned everything from that man. He learned, no joke, he learned everything from Eugene Parker. He took the places where he took a piece of something from somebody of importance and incorporated it in him. And this is who this is what you got right here. It's basically like a big old pot of gumbo.
Yeah. He's got his master. He's got his masters and degrees by learning all the knowledge that he's been every place that he's been and taken from somebody else, like you said.
Right. But we're gonna get back on this. Hey, we're gonna get back on this shiesty deal. I'm gonna let my boy Sean say that. We're gonna go back to Brett Favre, aka Shiesty B, stealing all that money. What's your take on it, Sean? Because we had already talked about it earlier.
It's a hell of a hustle. You know what I mean? To front like the money is for one thing, but really it's for something else. It's a way for you to backdoor the funds.
Yep.
Come on, man. Like we all, I mean, if you got any type of street sense,
oh yeah,
you can smell this from a mile away. You know what I'm saying? They call it money laundering if you got a cleaners and you running drug money through it.
Yep.
But what you call it? What you call it when you got a school that you can use to funnel the money right back to yourself?
You call that embezzlement.
Right. So he wasn't doing nothing no different than a person in the street was trying to do, trying to clean the cash up, but except the money wasn't dirty. The money was coming from governmental funds
Yep.
to, to take care of other things. Like first, initially, before it was the money thing, people was like, what Brett Favre doing getting welfare? Y'all remember that?
Yeah, that would be the first thing you want to ask right there. Why he getting welfare? He rich.
Yeah.
He got money. He's a Hall of Famer. He gets an NFL pension every freaking month.
Hall of Fame.
Right. So it's not like he don't have the money to do certain things. I think that he did want to do some stuff that had to do with the school. But I also think that he wanted to do something that would make the money come back. So the speaking engagements was the fronts.
Right.
Right? Because the government, the mayor, the governor, all of them had to know this, bro. Ain't no they didn't know this.
They text each other, though. That's the crazy thing. They all text each other.
And then play dumb when the text come out.
Yep.
So, Brett, I really, he ain't saying nothing for a reason. Because he trying to let it blow over because he knows that in the state of Mississippi, it'll allow him a threshold to do it.
Yep.
But he just had the audacity to say, well, I was trying to get money for the Southern Miss and, and for the facilities and also to recruit Shedeur Sanders.
He should have never said that either right there.
Right. What you need money to recruit Shedeur Sanders for?
He's just trying to muddy the waters.
Right. Right. So that's the cop out there. And that's the way that you spin the narrative. You know what I'm saying? Ultimately, man, I just think that people need to keep the conversation up. How the hell do you get that amount of money, man, with all these people that are going through trying times all over the state of Mississippi? It ain't just black people that actually needed that money. It's them poor racist people who need the money too. And now they look dumb because they over here like thinking that the money going to black people who needed the most. And it be them who needed the most because I done been in them backwoods in them countries and seen in them trailer homes.
Shit, you go to the Delta, boy, you don't even see nothing up there, man.
But a poor white person will go without just for a black man not to get anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, well, and I was telling Brian, I was saying the state of Mississippi would rather choke itself out and not give the funds, to give the funds to do what needs to be done with like infrastructure.
Hold on. Pause the Brett Favre talk.
Okay.
Miak Mike says, how are you going to be the Heisman and you're not even the best quarterback in black college football? NCCU quarterback one is built like McNair and can throw and run the ball. He runs like a linebacker. Go pull up NCC's QB1 numbers. Pull his numbers up.
A pedestrian.
Pull his numbers up. Rushing and passing. Total yard him up. How many touchdown passes he got? How many he got rushing?
He got like 7 passing.
Shedeur got 14 passing.
Shedeur got 14 passing and 4 rushing?
Yeah.
How many passing yards does Shedeur have?
Shit, he almost at 1,500 yards.
Correct. How many does North Carolina Central quarterback have?
I think he got about at least 800-900 right now.
Let's just do this. NCCU football.
I'm about to look it up now.
Player stats. Let's go look. It ain't nothing for us to, you know what I'm saying? They created Google for arguments. So let's look at the statistics. individually. So what's his name?
Davius Richard. He got
Davius Richard.
742 yards. Davius Richard. He got
Okay.
742 yards passing, 7 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. He the leading rusher, 37 carries, 249 yards, and 5 TDs.
277. Oh, yeah, no, you're right. 249 because they got the losses. So he got 249 yards rushing with 5 TDs. And how many passing?
7.
7 passing with 3 interceptions. He only got 100 attempts. 755 yards.
And then we could go look.
You're saying he's QB1?
Yeah, he the QB1.
Shador has twice the amount of yards passing, bro. Dude's total yards don't even add up to Shador's passing yards.
Nope. At all.
How is this? Listen, and then to break it down just a little further, Miak Mike, go look at the completion percentage. Go look at the completion percentage. Buddy averaging 65% completion. Shador's averaging over 74, almost 75% completion. Shador's QB rating is through the roof. Dudes is just at 145. He's managing the game and he's not taking many chances. He's only throwing the ball out of 4 games. He's only throwing the ball 25 times. He ain't doing it 30, 40, 50 times because if he is, they losing.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Even if you go to college football players' passing stats, where they got Michael Penix Jr. in Washington, he's got 12 touchdowns, 1 interception. His yards are 1,388. Shador's very comparable with Power One's QBs. He's got higher.
I'm gonna tell you like this, Sean. Lindsey Scott Jr.'s passing yards is way more than Davius Richards right now over at Incarnate Word.
Mm-hmm. So Mike, he ain't QB1, bro.
He catching up with what's going on. That's the reason
okay.
Yeah.
He way behind.
Not being American.
Okay. Yeah, he way behind.
But when we get back to the politicians, majority of the politicians in Mississippi want to see, they would rather choke out the whole state than to help out anybody that's poor or that stays in Jackson.
Mm-hmm. I say this. I say, all right, so I'm gonna put it to y'all like this. If a move, and this is just hypothetically speaking, if a move to a different conference was made because the invitation would be there, people are like, but what benefit would Jackson State bring to that conference? They won't have the money to recruit and do some of those other things. No, you still have the attention. You just moved up a little bit, and then it makes it more enticing for other people to be interested in your program because you're building the new you. But at the same time, what happens is you have a legendary coach who is a legendary player trying to become a legendary coach with the hottest team, the hottest name in the game. There's a lot of leverage to that, bringing that style of a person in. So you get Jackson State in one of those conferences where they breaking off each other after the first and second year. What is the second year they get the money or whatever out of a contract deal?
Out of a contract deal, yep.
So they only got to go through one painful season when they go through that. You know, financially, right? They got to take their blows, limited in recruiting. You know, but with names like you got, you gonna have more funding than you got at Jackson State right now to go do more because you just entered another realm, and he can get donors to give him money. Yep. So he can go and get these recruits, be competitive that first year. The next thing you know, the budget doors open up. They inherit all this money. Then that pain that they went through is paid for. But this is just hypothetically speaking. The move could be executed because of the interest it draws from other conferences. with all of this new alignment going on, that's an opportunity. And this is what I'm trying to get people to see. The opportunity could present itself, which would be different than years past. Years past, you had to build that resume up. This ain't years past. People keep thinking about yesteryears. This ain't years past. Look at what people doing. You got teams coming from all the way on the West Coast to join a Big Ten.
Yep.
Are you seriously telling me that stuff like this can't be done with all this new realignment? It opens the floodgate for an opportunity to present itself to Jackson State because of its name. Bro, when ESPN come on, if you can go through a whole day of ESPN, it's going to show you Deion Sanders' name coming up.
Yep.
If you go into the Google and you're looking in your algorithms, or something pops up in your algorithms in the little Google search, it's going to say Jackson State University.
Yep.
The school is getting hits and it's garnering attention around the world. See, we only a small part of this sports community that's actually talking about it, but there's a wider community that has interest in Deion Sanders and Jackson State. Right. Notice what I just said. Deion Sanders and Jackson State. They ain't having these petty arguments that we're having. Like, there's people out there, there's conversations out there, there's teams of people out there that are interested in him being a Power 5 coach.
Yep.
So if he can continue his recruiting efforts and have Power 5 caliber players and can land some more, top 300 recruits, more top 300 recruits, and improve his program with what he currently has, then, just from his recruiting efforts alone and the way these alignments are going, there may be an opportunity. This is an unconventional time that we're in right now. So we can't think the old way. Right?
Right.
It's like, bro, it's like still trying to go out in your backyard to cook your food and then bring it in the house because you ain't got no stove. That time has gone and surpassed us. We ain't got to do that no more. We don't have to go light a match in our oven to cook inside our houses to prepare our food. That time has gone. You know what I'm saying? We don't even have to use gas lighting stoves no more. We got electric. That time has gone. Hell, if you don't even want to use the stove, we had microwaves. That time is gone because now you got air fryers. Yep. You got air fryers, microwaves, and a stove. You got the whole, you know what I mean?
You got the whole shebang.
We went from listening to games, sports on the radio to being able to watch them on black and white TVs. I'm trying to paint a picture for everybody to see what I'm saying. Just like technology develops, other things and evolve, other things develop and evolve. Yeah. You can't think that, man, y'all ain't playing no FCS. Don't nobody want y'all in their conference. Okay. All right. Let him keep on getting all his attention. Remember, Jackson State went from having a couple of games on ESPN to having a few more games on ESPN than previously known. And even though it's, a lot of games might be on the third network, they got a lot of games on the third network on ESPN when that wasn't even available to them before.
Nope.
And guess what? If they show up on your local networks, it's really a wrap.
Oh, it's over and done. It's over and done if that happened right there.
Right, and that's the fear. Now, based on everything that I just said, that's the fear that Mississippi politicians don't want to see. They don't want to see a Jackson State be that dominant and that relevant in the state of Mississippi and supersede an Ole Miss, Mississippi State, Southern Miss.
Mm-hmm.
They can't afford for that narrative to be pushed because if they're not helping Jackson, and people in the city have complained that the state doesn't care about the city of Jackson, Mississippi, by moving them into a conference where they can create and generate revenue for themselves, allow them to fix the things that they need fixed, especially facility wise,
Yep.
which will bring in more revenue to that school. Because guess what's going to happen now? If you're in another conference, you got all these other people coming in and they're busting their fans. They bringing 20.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? They're gonna buy up the student area or participation segments for them to come in with their people and handle their business. It's just different. It's different, man. It's different when you really get down to the crevice of what's going on, man. You can't think the old way no more, bro. And that's my argument is you can't act like 5 years ago. You know what I'm saying? Where these people weren't getting no invites.
You can't act like 10 years ago either. I think that's some of the things that me and you, we moderate on Scotty's channel, and I think that's some of the things that he always have. His argument is like you cannot keep thinking the way that you were thinking 5, 10, 15, 20 years ago.
But on this topic, he think that way. Don't get quiet.
I don't know. I ain't getting quiet.
On this topic,
but Scotty's platform is just my opinion alone. But with Scotty, his platform is mainly to say things against JSU and Dion for the simple fact that's how he's doing his platform.
It really not, hey, Brian, it's really not that.
Nah, it ain't that.
He's unbiased.
Right. So he's taking a position. He's taking a position.
Yeah, he's unbiased about things. Now, when he first started off, and believe me, you believe me, and Sean, you already know, when he first started off, he was JSU everything. And don't get me wrong. And I like that. But
he still is.
But when you start looking at things more with a clear eye view, then you have to take that bias away, and you got to be unbiased, because now, of course he knows Jackson State gonna go in there and keep beat the brakes off of somebody as far as on the football field.
What he wanted from Shador last year is what Shador is doing this year.
Yeah.
Remember, that was his argument last year.
Mm-hmm.
So ultimately, because of what Shador is doing now in the offense and things of that nature, you don't see him, really coming for him the way that he did last year. Right?
But he was because unfair to Shador last year. Totally unfair.
Well,
especially as a this is my opinion. We can agree to disagree, Sean. The thing is, if you looked at it, he had no offensive line. He's a true freshman. You know what I mean? There's things in Shador's game that I see this year, that I see right now that he can improve on. I think a lot of times when he hands on the ball, like he can always run an action, like a play action pass, or that, you know what I mean? There's certain things that he can do that sometimes when he just hands the ball, he just stands there, or you know what I mean? Because he can set up other plays, when you do different actions in football. But the thing is, and I've seen a lot of Scotty's podcast where he has said, like, Dion's disciples, and you know what I mean? You call a buck a buck. There's things that I love about Dion, but there's certain things that I don't agree with, Dion. But I respect Dion as what he's doing for the culture for HBCUs.
Scotty do too. This is where, not to talk about Scotty, but to be honest, who he's speaking to specifically are the people who go too far in their arguments. He ain't talking about the regular football guy that has some sense, that has played the game, that understand the game and know it like that, or who's, participated in it enough to know some of the ins and outs that other people do. It's just it's a fanatic thing. So I don't mind him doing it. I love what he do. I actually love the direction he went into, because he expanded himself beyond just, JSU, which was his initial focus. And, and he even said it, Prime gave him his interview. That interview did wonders for him, and then it pushed him where it needed to. But he's doing what needs to be done, but he's just, trust me, bro.
He's doing
it. If the camera ain't on, and you look at his face, he's really impressed by some of the things that the team is doing. But he expected it last year to be the way that things are going this year.
Yeah. And if you really think about it, and you do Spence talking about stop defending, but I'm not. I'm gonna tell you the reason why I'm not gonna stop defending him is because he brought me into this light because of the love that I have for HBCUs.
Facts.
And to me, if it wasn't for people like him, Blue, CFL, Cut Day, if it wasn't for those folks like them, I wouldn't be on this platform right now. And I ain't got a big platform like he does because we all start from the mud. We all get it from the mud, regardless.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like
everybody starts from the same place.
Yeah, we all start from the same place. And I'm not hating that. Yeah, I got 376 followers, and I'm gonna put it out there just like that. He got 10,000, but I'm not gonna hate on that because I'm gonna be the one to congratulate you on your success. But I'm also gonna be the one to say, "Hey, you wrong for what you said."
Right. We all get. That's why he said what he said to me yesterday. He was like, "See, Sean, facts." That's my boy, though, man. We all know. People just gotta quit it. This is my all right, Spence. This is for you. I want you to hear me loudly and clearly. This is why you should never take this seriously, bro. Because until you meet him in person, you never know what type of person that he actually is. Yeah. But with that being said, remove the emotions from what he's saying and focus on what he's saying. And I try to do that myself with my job that I do with just people individually. What is their argument and their aggression? In that argument, separate the aggression. Is what they saying factual? If you feel like what he's saying is not factual, then you should have a counter argument with evidence that would then make him self-check and be like, you know what, you're right. And you can make him say that. The problem is people argue with him from feelings, and he's using another tactic. You're not going to win with your feelings.
Right.
No, I believe facts over feelings anyways.
Yeah. But I can get why some people get mad. You know what I'm saying?
There's some people get mad, and the people, boy, they get mad to the point where they don't even return to his show. But like we say, like, you know, just like I said, being a moderator since he even started, you know, he like 2 or 3 months he started the show up. He, you know, like I said, he has grown tremendously over the past year and a half. And I always gonna say, you know, to me, I always gonna be like, look, man, that's my guy, that's my dude. I'm happy for what he's doing. He got all the, you know what I'm saying? He got all the support from me. And like I said, he gonna have all the criticism from us too. Like you gotta call a spade a spade. But like I said, he's just a good dude, and it's just like you kind of have to, when you watch and listen to his show, just like you said, you gotta take the feeling out of it and just use your actual logic, actual facts. If you know he wrong on something, then you know he would rather be challenged. If you really think about it, am I lying or not, Sean? He would rather be challenged than for you to give up and say that he wrong.
Yeah. All day long.
But
You can make him apologize though.
But at the beginning of the year, he was real critical of Coach Bartoloni bringing in a white OC.
Nah, I'm gonna tell you about this. So let me just be honest. What he was critical of was his inexperience because he didn't believe that Coach Bartoloni could solve the problem for JSU because he felt like he didn't have the experience. More so as if it was a different coordinator with credentials that backed him on any level outside of that, he would have went for that. But all right. So if you paid attention after the Florida A&M game, the first thing that Scotty said was, man, I was so impressed with how the offense was ran the entire game. It was a work of art. He said the way that it was moving, the way that they were showing plays. He said, man, that offense. Now that's how our offense is supposed to look, right? Creating threats and problems to a defense, presenting new problems, all of that. If you got to catch him and listen to me. He tell on himself. You got to catch him in his moments. You got to catch him in his moments because he gonna keep it real. The other time he just antagonistic with people because people be saying a lot of dumb stuff sometimes, taking it too far. But you got to catch him in his moments, and then you start to see you like, all right, okay, I see what it is. You know what I mean? And that's why I say, some people make a mistake by getting too personal and in their feelings about their team and stuff like that, and just need to just kind of dial it back, remove the feelings, and use facts to beat them in the counter argument.
Man, but your team is trash. We gonna say your team trash. That's just anything. Your team is trash. So you got Alabama A&M fans out there. Look, y'all team is trash right now. Y'all 0-4. If you don't get your shit together before you get to that Magic City Classic, you might be 1-5 or 2-4 or 1-6 before you get to that Classic, and then it's over with if Alabama State beats you. And then Connell Maynard gonna need another job.
Well, Connor Maynard's got transportation if he gets fired. He's got a pink scooter.
That is facts. But yeah, and then we got on the Herm Edwards firing, man. Like, yeah.
Oh my gosh, man. Come on, man. If that ain't sabotage, bro.
That's super sabotage, man. Super sabotage. I've already said, if I'm a up and coming coach right now, and I take the air and Arizona State comes and knocks on my door and say, we want you to be our next head coach. How would I look at you? I'm looking at you side-eye because you already put the report. First of all, you already got the video of you firing Herm Edwards on the field, right after a football game. Then the reports come in a couple of days later saying that some of his staff was leaking the information to the other teams to prolong the firing. I'm not looking at you. I'm for real. I'm not gonna be looking at you as to coach your team. Because the same way you did him, you could do the same thing to me.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, it don't make sense. It don't make sense. And then also with the NCAA coming down on you for the recruiting violations and stuff like that, you might not even get. You might get like a slap on the wrist. You might get something like Penny Hardaway right now. He got a slap on the wrist from Memphis with the James Wiseman stuff.
But sometimes NCAA just, they try to find violations to throw the book at these colleges. You know what I mean? It's like I was looking at I Am Athlete, and I was watching the episode with Reggie Bush, and you know what I mean? The way they took away his Heisman and stuff like that. It's, they just didn't do their due diligence in finding out the true story.
Yeah. Man, they just wanted to gang bang on Reggie Bush, bro.
That's all it was.
At the end of the day, and he earned, no matter, I don't care what kind of money he received from boosters, any of that. Reggie Bush still had to play the game. Reggie Bush still had to make the plays. Reggie Bush still had to give the effort. Reggie Bush still had to show up and practice and learn the offense and learn his opposing opponent's defense. Yep. So no matter what, the athlete was still that dynamic, period. If the Heisman goes to the most dynamic player in college football, he was that, and he deserves his trophy, and he deserved all his stuff to be restored.
That is true. But yeah, I'm about to go ahead and end this right here. So like we got the shout outs. If everybody hasn't done, make sure that y'all the GoFundMe. I think it's on my Brian. You put it on my Facebook page, and it should be on Twitter also. For Tyler Smith, Alcorn State, him and his brother, they lost their mother and a sister on Saturday. So, like I said again, make sure y'all, if you can, go to the GoFundMe, and either you can go to Alcorn State football, Alcorn State football on Twitter, Alcorn State athletics on Twitter, and give your condolences for him and his brother. So we make sure that those two are good, because they really gonna need it, because they don't have that support system, that support anymore. Also Saturday we'll be at I'll be at the State Fair Classic, Grambling versus Prairie View, 6:00 kickoff. That game is on HBCU Go TV. If you haven't gotten it, make sure you download it on your Roku or Apple TV. It is free of charge, and it's good football, man. You can watch some good football on there. Tomorrow is, like I said, tomorrow is my off day, so I don't have anything tomorrow. But if anything comes up, then it's a different story. So if it's like real important news, if anything comes up with real important news, then I will go ahead and get on a live or kind of do a pre-recorded video and put it out there. Other than that, make sure everybody, if just want to see good swag, good football, HBCU football, go download the HBCU Go TV app on your Roku and your Apple TV, also, and Fire Stick to be exact, on another one too, and also download HBCU League Pass Plus on your TV, and you can download that on your phone, so you can watch some good Black college football and all sports and all everything HBCU pretty much. So y'all go ahead and do that. If you haven't done it by now, make sure you like the stream, comment, share, and most of all, subscribe. Hit that notification bell to get everything HBCU OverDrive to become a member. Excuse me, y'all. To become a member of the dopest, livest channel in HBCU spaces right now. Basically, next week is my birthday, so everybody,
October 8th.
October the 8th. I won't be doing any type of show on that day. I would probably be out there getting drunk. But if you want to donate to the page for the channel, my Cash App handle is on the ticker. I would take anything as far as donations go. Whatever you want to donate, I would take it and put it to the side and make sure that I be able to advance this channel to bring you more things in store. Other than that, like I said, Wednesday don't have anything. Thursday is the week game previews for week 5. Everything from MEAC and the SWAC except for Jackson State, because Jackson State is only reserved for Fridays. So on Friday, they're not playing this weekend. So I'm still gonna do something on Friday so they can actually we can actually get all the JSU folks on this stream, and we can talk about anything that has something to do with Jackson State. And then Saturday is a live pregame show, so I will do that early in the morning around 8:30, and basically get all the games for the day to push them up. I know Thursday, the game on Saturday for South Carolina State has been moved up to Thursday to move it up I basically to try to get it ahead from the storm that's coming in, the hurricane that's coming in out of the Gulf. I know FAMU, they have shut down the school just in case if the hurricane makes landfall within towards Tallahassee, Pensacola area. Yep, my B-Day is October 8th, bro. So let's give our prayers out to those that might be affected by the storm over in the Florida coast. Hope y'all make sure that y'all hunker yourself down. If you got to leave out, make sure you evacuate. Evacuate expeditiously. Other than that, make sure I give my shout outs. Shout out to my wife. Everything that she has done for me is so much appreciated. I love that woman, so everybody know what's going on. I got you, Sean. I got you, bro. Kids, and all the members on the channel that actually do watch the shows. I appreciate y'all. Much love to y'all. Make sure that you tell your friends to come on to the shows and watch the shows and basically subscribe and become a member. Anything you got going on, Brian, until we come back again on next Tuesday?
No, just I'm just you know what I mean. I've been off work. I have to go see my orthopedic for my knee. You know, when you get old and you play sports, you start to break down. Just want to send up my prayers to the Smith family, and you know they're going to go through a trying time, and we just want to lift them up in prayers. You know, and like you said, everybody that's for the hurricane that's going to Florida, we want you to make sure you have a plan in place so you stay safe. And also everybody that's out there to like and subscribe to the channel. Let's I'm gonna put a challenge out there to people. Let's get a 200 subscribers by next Tuesday. Let's get 200 more subscribers by next Tuesday. Tell a friend, share, like, and tell a friend to subscribe to the show because this is one of the hottest podcasts out there right now. So get in on it. And October 8th, get into your pockets and bless this man for not only for his birthday but for his podcast. Get out there and bless. You know, when you bless, to be blessed, you have to be a blessing.
That is true. All right.
And thank you once again for having me on.
Oh yeah, you. Hey man, if that's the case, you might well just be a regular contributor on Tuesdays, bro. I would like that.
I will do my best.
All right, and make sure, like I said, make sure you subscribe. He said, like, get 200 subscribers, man. I'm trying to get on the road to 1,000. We try to get this this channel monetized. That's what we need. So I'm going slowly but surely. But it would be best if we get this channel going and rolling in the right direction. But my name, as always, is Doc Holliday. Again, this is HBCU Tonight on HBCU OverDrive Live, where HBCU matters. Again, we are out for the next day. I'll be back on Thursday. Until we meet again, peace.